Hey sweeties, we are cooking today. I am going to make a one-pan pasta. It's going to be this fusilli pasta, which I've already pre-cooked with shrimp and bacon. And as we go along, I'll talk about substitutes and all that good stuff. We've got some large shrimp here. It's already peeled and deveined, but I'm gonna pop the tails off because if I'm eating something like pasta, I don't really want to pick up the fork and there's a tail on there and everything. So we're gonna pull the tails off, and we've got some bacon. So let's get into it. But first, please subscribe, hit that notification bell, that thumbs up, and let's get started. We've got 7 strips of thick cut bacon. I'm just gonna cut them into chunks here on my cutting board and pop them in this pan. My pan is cold, and we're starting with a cold pan because we want to render out as much fat as we can. So into this pot. And I mean, you can cook the bacon strips whole and then cook them and chop them up afterwards, but either way is fine. Let's just go ahead into that pan. And that's some pretty bacon. It's got lots of lean in there. So that's gonna be nice and smoky. While that bacon is cooking, we're gonna just pull the tails off of these shrimp. And then we're going to give them a quick rinse and pat them dry. Now that is on medium-low heat, and you can see the fat beginning to render out. You want to watch it carefully so that it doesn't burn. We'll stir it around and keep it moving every once in a while. Now look at that, how much fat is coming out of that bacon, and we're going to use that later on in the recipe. So our bacon is now starting to brown, so we'll let that finish and move on to our shrimp. We're working with about a pound of shrimp today, but you can do up 2 pounds or however much you need. So we already pulled those tails off, and we're going to just pat the shrimp dry, because if they're wet, then they won't brown properly. Now we can season them. I'm going to use lemon pepper, a little garlic, that's granulated garlic, a little cayenne, and a little bit of salt. And just toss that around. Our bacon is nice and brown, so we are going to drain it, put it into a separate bowl, and you can see how much fat came out of that bacon. We're going to cook our shrimp in that bacon fat. So our pan is still hot. Our shrimp is seasoned and pat dry and seasoned. Cook your shrimp in one layer. Don't crowd the pan or else it will steam. You can see how our shrimp is starting to curl and it's opaque around the edges. We're just going to give that a turn and let them finish cooking on the other side. That only took about 1.5 minutes to cook on that one side. Cooked really quickly. Those shrimp are done. We can pull them out of the pan. That looks good right there. Very tasty and quick and easy. Okay, now I'm going to turn off my pan from the heat. It's gotten a little bit darker than I'd like it to get. We don't want any burn flavors in there. So I'm going to pour that fat out, but I'm going to save it. So hang on one second. All right, we're just going to pour it in here. Just going to pour this bacon. And then I'm going to just clean this pan out a little bit. It's just a little too dark. If your pan doesn't get as dark as this, then you can just proceed with the recipe. But I think that's a little too dark for me. We're going to go back in with 2 tablespoons of the bacon fat that we saved. And we're going to make a bechamel, but not a traditional bechamel. A traditional bechamel uses butter, and you could certainly use butter if you like, but since we've got this tasty bacon fat, we're going to use that. So that's 2 tablespoons of the bacon fat, and we have 2 tablespoons of flour. And that's just regular all-purpose flour. And we're going to stir it around, get it well combined. We're going to let it cook just a bit, but we don't want it to get any color or much color. It's got some color because the bacon is browned. We just want to cook it a little bit so that we get the raw flour taste out. And stir to remove any lumps. Now we're going to carry on with our twist on a bechamel. We have some warm milk that we're going to add in and whisk over a medium flame. And warming the milk helps to blend it into your sauce without too many lumps. Just makes things a little easier. We're going to whisk it, and that roux that we made, is going to thicken the sauce. And as this simmers, it will keep thickening, but you can see, if you look in there closely, it's starting to get thick. Now, if you add cheese to a bechamel, then you have a Mornay sauce. So you can add cheese in here if you want, a little shredded Parmesan if you like, something like that. But for a flavor boost to this sauce, I'm going to add about 1.5 teaspoons of this Knorr chicken bouillon. It really does pack a punch. You know, I'm not looking for this to have like a lot of chicken flavor, but that chicken bouillon, I just think it makes everything taste so good. Like, even if I make something with, say, real chicken broth, I'll add a scoop of the Knorr bouillon just to boost that flavor up. So let's stir that around. We can season that with some fresh cracked pepper and taste it for salt. We're going to add our cooked fusilli pasta in there, but this would work just fine with bow tie pasta. I like the fusilli because the sauce can get caught up in those little corkscrews, and I reserved some of my cooking liquid, so if that's too thick, I can just add a little bit of cooking liquid in there to thin it out. And we'll just stir it up. That's nicely coated. We can add our shrimp and bacon back in. The shrimp, the bacon. Oops, I missed this. A little bit of juice came out of there. We'll add that in. And then we'll add a little green onion on top. We'll shut the heat off, and we are done. And that is it. Look how beautiful that is. And this is just what I had on hand, but if you had some sausage, it would be great in this. You could make some chicken breast instead of shrimp. Just season your chicken breast and sear it on each side. and then proceed with that recipe just as we did with the shrimp, that would be really tasty. So thank you so much for watching. Please subscribe to Sweet Savant. Give me that thumbs up, hit that notification bell, and have a delicious day.